All right. So Jeff, okay, so let's see, who do we have here? Perfect. Okay. Nicholas is not here, but that's okay. So let's start with documentation. So first thing I want to do is get an update from everyone. Since we're recording, anyone who's missed this meeting can follow up with us later on by watching this recording and then getting in touch with us. So last week we were talking about finalizers, and also we touched upon documentation a little bit. I've been keeping an eye on the comment chat, and Jeff, am I right in understanding that you're looking at the documentation a little bit?
Yeah, I did a little look at the weekend, but Trini's going to, the last I heard from him, he'll push it into the official repo, and then I'll just create a PR against the spec.md file.
Okay, sounds good. So which part of the, so can someone tell me which repo is this pull request on?
Sid, right now the spec.md is part of the old spec repo.
I see.
I need to move that into the, it's checked in actually.
Okay, container objects. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
I can see spec.md. Somehow it went through.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of stuff I added. This is very, very old stuff. I need to push this back to the official repo and then have Jeff iterate on that. Jeff and I, both of us can iterate on this because there are a few sections that needs to be added to.
Understood. So let me take a look at this. So what do we need to do before we push it to upstream?
Nothing much right now. We can push it as is and then start iterating on it because there is no point in making it super correct, right?
That
so
is
like in the iterations, we'll correct all the issues.
Right, and it would be good to get other review comments on it. The whole decision last week was that the KEP is static. It's not going to be updated. It's merged and done, but we need a way to document cozy.
Yeah.
And so this is how we're going to do it. And there'll be PRs can be written against the document to keep it current.
Yeah. Makes sense. So Srini, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see there are probably a few glitches here and there because this is based off of CSI.
Yeah, there's a lot of CSI specific stuff in there that there's work to be done on it.
Okay.
That's
so
why I said basically if we have this skeleton, right? I mean, we have all the sections, and then we can start iterating on individual sections as we go on.
Okay, so how about we do this, Srini? Yeah, let's start by making a pull request directly to upstream. I think that sounds good. I will not define. So how about we just get the architecture right? Because I think it might be easier to review the PR in small chunks.
Okay.
And
so,
yeah.
Pull a bunch of slides from our slide deck and put it in here. That's
it. Yeah. And if you want me to redraw the diagrams or anything, let me know. I'm happy to do it. Make it nicer.
Yeah, this is this, it's either we can embed images or either we can do similar to what we are doing here, right? Which is
do the ASCII art. Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, so let's start with just the architecture. We don't even need this part yet, because in the architecture itself, we have to describe 3 components, and this won't be container orchestrator. This will be, this is container orchestrator, I guess.
Oh, I can take Kubernetes.
Yeah, this can be cool. I was thinking more like sidecar, but overall architecture, this is CO. Right. And then maybe like inner picture, we have like a more detailed view. We'll have 3 components where the sidecar talks to the controller, and and then maybe as a third picture we can define the resources. And
you do have everything in the slide deck, so
I do,
putting them together.
Yeah. So I think architecture-wise, generally architecture-wise, we should two things. One is what are all the components. Two is how they interact. So if we can show just that, that'll be enough. As someone who comes in new, say they don't understand how Cozy works, they should be able to get a decent sense of it looking at the architecture diagrams.
Sounds good. So I will do the first cut by end of today, and I'll ping Jeff.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So in that case, I will assign you as well here.
Jeff and me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take my name out. Okay. I've put it in progress. Okay, so Tejas is here. Has anyone else joined? Great. Hi, Ben. Hi, John. So right now we're just going over some of the things. Hey. Right now we're just going over some of the work that has been done in the last week. I know you haven't. I don't know if you've been able to join after after the new year started. In case you weren't here last week we talked a little bit about how our finalizers are set up, and also we talked about documentation being needed because more and more people from the community are interested and are asking questions or making feature requests, and it's high time that we have some documentation in place so they understand where we are at. So okay, Tejas is here. Hi, Tejas.
Hey, Sid.
Hey, so I wanted to bring to your attention some of the changes we made to the customized template while trying to integrate everything.
Okay.
So Kubernetes SIGs. I think I made this pull request to. Let me see. Is this CSI adapter? Yeah. Oh, okay, it was approved. Okay, so we were trying to get this working, Tejas, and the current way we've set up the customized templates for the entire Cozy project is to have a single manifest that will deploy all of the different components in a central repo. Correct?
Right.
So one of the issues we faced with that was in the controller repo. One of the issues we faced with that was it was not very clear how to reference the different CRDs or files from other repositories right here, such that we always get the latest.
You're looking at base. I think you need to go into full stack.
Yeah, full stack. So I don't mind. No, actually, even in base there was an issue. You see, the CRDs don't get deployed when you put it like that. They work if you're doing customized build, but customize is a part of kubectl, and the kubectl version of customize, even the latest, does not do that. Does not work with this. So
okay, so it doesn't even work with the raw URLs that we had earlier.
No, not even the raw URLs. We tried that as well.
That's
so we were experimenting with different mechanisms. Even for our integration, we were trying to see what's the best way to do it. And see, the intention of doing it the previous way was if I have a place to write, so I'll just write here just to show you what we were thinking before. Earlier, the idea was they should just be able to do kubectl create -k and then deploy /full stack. That was the original intention. And when people do that, they should just be able to deploy Cozy and test it out or run it with their object storage integration. For the time being, we came up with a solution that's simpler and it'll help us move forward. So what we did, instead of trying to have a full stack folder inside a central repo, it seemed to be easier to just have a customized template per repository. So what we did, customization YAML in the root of the repository, and that just points to some resources under a resource directory. And now what people can do is to deploy this specific repository. They just do kubectl create-k github.com or wait sigs.ktest.io / cozy CSI adapter and so on. So if I wanted to deploy a different one, say the controller, I would just do that. So in order to deploy the full stack, I would have to issue 4 kubectl commands instead of 1. But that is an okay compromise, given that it's simpler for us to build and we can move forward.
Okay. So is that what you want to do for? So I have a PR open for sidecar, right? Or for provision.
Right.
So I can go ahead and refactor that similar to what you have done for the adapter.
That would be good. That's what I was hoping to do. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. All right.
And then what do you want to do for controller then? Like, so do we want to update that as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can take out that deploy and we can just follow the same structure there as well.
Okay. So we are not doing full stack anywhere basically.
No full stack anywhere. Yeah, at this point.
So these, when do the CRDs get applied? Like when you apply the controller, when you create the controller changes, or?
Well, that could also be a customized template. So Cozy API.
Okay, so we want to add customized to API repo as well now.
Yes. So the CRDs get deployed.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, going back to this. So I'm going to put this in progress.
Yeah.
So this and that can be merged, right, Srini? Okay. Srini?
Yeah.
These are the same issues, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think this is also part of that.
For controller, yeah. We can.
Sorry?
We can. Yeah, those are individuals for this. Yeah, the first one is done, right? The add customers template.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, so that's done. Yeah, it doesn't need a pull request for it. I mean, it's already merged.
Yeah, we can close.
This we are not doing.
This one we are not doing, so we should basically say we decided not to have a single customize that will deploy.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to move this, archive this.
That's fine.
Review RBAC for controller. I believe we've done this already, right?
Yeah, we have done that too. I mean, we can close them. Actually, when we do the PRs, we should either do fixes with the bug number so that gets automatically closed, or we close the bug. So
right.
I can clean that up.
Okay. All right. So what about this, Srini? I think this is also done.
Process bucket request delete. These will be closed as soon as my PR is. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay. So Tejas, you're clear, right? What needs to be done next?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So Srini, you're going to do the documentation, and Jeff is going to follow up with that. And the next thing. So Rob, what are you working on right now?
So during the integration stuff, right, we found that bug with definition of context, and then I was working on. So I fixed that. You created a temporary to move forward, but I fixed that, and in a PR I haven't pushed up, and I was working on re-importing the logging such that we can control the logging level, and ran into some issues with that, and haven't been able to do much else apart from the work we were doing to try to get integration going.
Okay.
We need to move all the 4 projects to Klog, right?
Yeah, we should have everything on Klog.
Yeah. Yeah.
So probably we should open issue because some of the projects are using glog.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much effort is it? My question
It
is,
shouldn't be actually a whole bunch. I mean, it's probably simple search interface.
Yeah, that's what I would expect it to be.
okay. So
Once you solve the problem that you're running into with the bootstrapping.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I don't know if how the other projects, because entire kit uses Klog. So
Yeah, K-Its though is got a way complicated setup. And just for some reason, I don't know if there's something unique in what I'm doing in Sidecar or not, but just doing the initialization is throwing things into a loop. So I need to dig into that.
got it. So Rob, can you take that up? Can you make
Yeah,
sure?
I'm going to work on that this week.
Okay. So there are 2 other issues assigned to you. So have you already finished them, or what's the status of these?
Which other 2 issues?
Add, remove finalizers on bucket.
No, I haven't. The finalizer stuff I haven't started on yet.
Okay. Okay. So I'll leave them as they are.
Yeah, that would be the next step. They're pretty simple to do, but I haven't started on them yet.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. And on bucket access, this would also be assigned to you, right?
Yeah, should be, yeah. Or anybody that wants to pick it up, yeah.
Okay. I'll just
if Tay just wanted to get some actual code in as opposed to customized stuff.
Well, once he's finished with this task, yeah. I'll leave you assigned for now, and yeah, depending on who's free, we can.
Yeah, I mean, there are issues logged in the sidecar repo, so whichever person wants to pick them up and get to them can work on them. If nobody else gets to them before I did, I'll obviously assign it to myself and take it.
Okay, so I've unassigned you then. So it's open for Tejas if he's done with his current task.
Yep, or anybody else in the community that wants to pick it up.
Absolutely. Okay, so the next thing is, Krish, are you here? Hi, Krish. So have you started working on Finalizer for buckets?
Yeah, I started working on that a little bit over the weekend. Just trying to just figure out like finalizers more. I haven't worked too much with them before. So
okay, so yeah, if you want to go over them, together, I'm happy to get on a call after maybe. Yeah, we can talk more. But if you're confident, or if you want to take it up yourself, that's fine too. Yeah, I'll leave it up to you. Just reach out to me.
Yeah, I'll ping you if I have any questions.
Sure, that sounds good. All right, so the next thing I want to bring up is, like I was saying, there are more people from the community interested in contributing and also in trying this out. Last week, we got some interest from the rook.io community. Today, this morning, I think, there was a new issue added by this person from India for usage and performance Prometheus metrics. So things like usage, capacity. Capacity might be applicable in some cases. Okay, so I mean, he's asked for performance, for instance, latency, throughput, and IOPS. These don't really apply to, especially IOPS. These are all functions that can only be measured from the client that is making the request to, actually all 3 of them. They can only be measured by the client that's making the request to the backend, because the backend does not differentiate one client from another, and depending on where the client is, these numbers are going to change. So I don't think it makes sense to do performance this way. In terms of latency, throughput, and IOPS per bucket. However, we could have some performance metrics from the bucket, something like average, IO weight, or write speed per MB or something like that.
Well, through throughput and IOPS, you could measure on the server side. Latency, obviously not. But
how would you measure the throughput?
I mean, the server knows how much data it's served over how much time.
But throughput, it depends on the latency, right?
No, I mean, like, you know,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
you're pushing a megabyte per second. You know that you've sent a megabyte per second out the front door, received it in the front door. Similarly with IOPS, you know how many requests you've serviced. Of course, you don't know if the other guy ever saw the responses you sent, but that's not your problem. If he keeps sending you requests, you kind of have to assume he's
How is
seen
that?
your responses.
I think
the
I'm not
latency is the one that you really have to be on a client to know anything about.
So, let's talk about these three things.
There is a concept of server-side latency. So from the time that the response shows up at your front door to the time the response leaves, if that's more than 0 seconds, that's server-induced latency. And you could measure that, but you know, most people are also interested in wire latency too.
The thing is, so talking about performance with object storage, the bottleneck or the slowest part of this entire setup is going to be the wire, is going to be the network. It's not going to be the amount of time it takes to retrieve the data.
It depends on your architecture.
Regardless of the architecture, the network is going to be your slowest part.
Not if you're using spinning disks to host your data.
What do you talk? No, we can get insane performance with spinning disks. I mean, MinIO gets 100 gigabyte, can saturate with spinning disks. You don't just read from one disk. Yes, you could.
I know. I'm saying it's architecture dependent. Like you can build an architecture that can, on average, give high performance with disks, but you can also build an architecture where disks are your bottleneck. Like it's architecture dependent.
So you know what I've seen from the industry is, I mean, we have to do this, right? We have to give them metrics that are usable by them. And to start with, we have to give them metrics that mean the most. Like, yes, this metric might be useful. However, I think there's a higher priority in terms of like from the client side, throughput and latency and IOPS make way more sense for a customer or someone who's using Cozy compared to how the servers behave.
I mean, my pushback is that this kind of stuff feels like a V2 kind of feature. Like it just doesn't seem like it's part of the minimum.
It's not
minimum viable product, but
it's not.
But you're right. Like once this is the most important thing to work on, yeah, we should get it right. And client side numbers are valuable. I was just pointing out that there are numbers you can generate on the server, and they're not worthless.
Absolutely.
They're just maybe not the best numbers you can get.
I agree.
And furthermore, like we don't have a footprint on the client side. We're not in a position to give you anything other than what the server knows.
Absolutely, yes. You're right. So let's create a new milestone for this. So Srini, I don't remember how to create a new milestone. Can we put this as just V1 for now? I mean, we haven't even crossed alpha yet.
We can, let's work on that after this meeting. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. But we should not, let this be forgotten at this point.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So just as I had some few thoughts on this. I think as a first step, in order to implement something like this, we'll need to introduce a new gRPC API. Again, we shouldn't worry about this too much, but just as an early idea of how we can implement this, we're going to need a new gRPC API that will get exposed from the provisioner sidecar. They'll get exposed as the Prometheus endpoint from the sidecar. So sidecar would call the gRPC API to get the stats and publish it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking along the lines of.
Okay. All right. So we're almost out of time. I think I have a good sense of how we're moving forward. So I wanted to give one more update. So we are almost, well, we're actually pretty much ready to show a demo on Thursday. So we've got all the three components working together. I've seen the basic workflows and they work. We just have to put together a demo. There are a few things that are remaining before we can do the demo, which is getting these 3 pull requests in. Yeah, this one we're fixing. Tejas is working on it. We'll only do the demo if these 4 things are in place, because that's the expectation we set for the demo, saying that when we do make the demo, as much as we show will actually be usable in as close to a production ready manner as we can at this point. So yeah, look forward to the demo on Thursday. If anything holds us back, or if something comes up, there are any blockers, we'll bring it up on Thursday. The other thing we'll bring up on Thursday is how we're setting up the finalizers across the 3 components, and how they get created and erased, and that thing. So stuff like that. So that's it from me. Does anyone have any questions? Perfect. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.